All right, so this video is showing the installation of the GRIN Technologies TorqArmV5 on an e-bike. So when you're doing this on your e-bike, you want to make sure that you're installing it on one side only, and that would be the derailleur side where the shifter is, as you see there. This bike is a Jasion brand or Jasion brand. You do not put one over here on this side, and the reason why, even though the factory does have, they do have a little bit of a torque plate on here on both sides. This is a hollow axle on this side, which is hollow so that, let me see here, the wiring can pass through. So this side, you don't want to make it super rigid because it could actually cause the axle to break. So don't put the V5 on this side. Leave this side with the factory plate. So with that said, there are two tools you need. You'll need a 4mm Allen wrench, and that'll be for that bolt right there. Now, they also do give you a couple extra fasteners. On this particular bike called the EB5 Ultra, you have another threaded hole that you could use right there, and I may use that hole. You also need a standard socket wrench with an 18mm on the Jasion, and that's to remove this nut right here. So you'll take that nut, and notice that's this as well. This is your derailleur guard. So you just take this nut off. On the Jasion bikes, you're going to use the 12mm insert. You will not need the 14 or the 15, or I'm sorry, the 16. So you'll take this off. Take the washer and the guard off. Now, this is the factory, right here, the factory plate. And what it does is it locks this flat and this flat in that plate. And actually mine, at 130 miles, is actually loose on this side. See if you can see that. I'm not sure if you can. But you're loose a little bit. It's actually beginning to torque itself. So we're going to take care of that now. We're going to go ahead and take this fastener out. Trying to work one-handed while holding the phone. Okay, washer and threaded bolt. And that's your rear fender bracket right there. And that thing's actually wedged tight on there. I might have to pause for a second up there. See if just wiggling that a little bit can get me out. There we go. All right, let's see the damage on here. So here, if you can tell, it's rounded a little bit. These are made out of soft metal. They are not like the GRIN Technologies. I'll put in the comments the description of the material types used, but they use a like a tool steel grade stainless steel. This is, for lack of a better term, poop. It's enough to get the bike sold, and that's common. It's not a thing related to the brand. It's all of these Chinese imported bikes really need this upgrade. They do two versions. They do the V5 and they do V6. The V6 comes off and travels up and clamps on to your round tube if you have a round tube, or a smaller flat tube. This being an elongated flat tube, just it's not going to work. My cable's in the way for my shifter, just not going to work. So the V5 is the best option that we have for this. So what we also may have to do is go untorque the bolt on the other side, because the axle is actually kicked a little bit. So as your wheel's moving forward, right, so the torque from the motor goes out to the ring gear, right, and or actually out to the hub. The hub either wants to rotate the tire in a forward traveling motion, and it really doesn't care which one it does, or it wants to spin the axle in the opposing direction. Hopefully, if the axle's trapped properly, the tire rolls in the forward and the axle stays where it's at. If the axle does rotate the wrong direction, that cable I showed you on the other side, in about a quarter of a revolution, gets torn in half, and you've lost a $500 rear wheel assembly. So that's why spending $25, $30 on the GRIN Technologies V5 torque arm saves you a $400 or $500 wheel and motor assembly. Okay. And as you can see, in not too many miles on a not overly powerful bike, I'm beginning to lose it. So this is almost too late. I mean, you could definitely tell that we are not where we want to be here. So I'm going to pause this for a second. What I'm going to do is go loosen the other side, get this axle squared in the right way, and then I'll come back. So to give you an idea of how damaged already this is, this right here is the factory torque plate, and that's how much wear that we already have. That we have an easily eighth of a turn of slop, so we're losing it. This is ovaling out, changing its shape, and so is the frame. And how you know that is you can take a tool like this and you can go right here and you can rotate this axle in the frame a fair amount. Look at that. That's another eighth of a turn. So the frame is also warbling. So that, as the tire is trying to be rolled forward, the axle is trying to be rolled backwards. So when we set it up in the GRIN Technology V5, we're going to make sure the axle is rotated slightly forward, because again, it's going to try to go that way. And I don't want to have it tight against the back of the frame. I want all the pressure to go to this assembly, right? So this, I already have it loose. It's loose. I just put, there's, the bolt slips in right there. You have a washer and a lock nut, so that's going to go there. And actually, that's not the right bolt. I can tell that because my nylon lock washer is not going to lock washer. So we're going to stand this one up. Trying, again, one-handed, right? So cut me a break. And we'll put this on here. Put our little washer on there. And we'll put our nylon lock nut on there. Okay. Now, one may consider coming on in this direction, and one might consider flipping the entire assembly and going on in this direction. I don't like this direction, and the reason why is mechanically, you're not in compression, you're in tension, which is always the weaker direction of energy transfer. You always prefer, in this case, we're going to anchor off of one of these bolt holes, right? The axle is going to be trying to spin counterclockwise, which is going to be lifting on this end of the arm, which is going to be shoving up into the secondary arm, which is going to be putting us in compression. Compression is absolutely always your strongest way to be, okay? And I am going to flip this arm to the opposite side because I think I am going to put the factory, even though it's kind of junk, I'm going to put it back just because it's something may be better than nothing. And then I'll come back to the video once I get all my self fitted up. But this is your insert. And again, this is the 12 millimeter. It's the smallest one that they have in the kit. And this simply goes onto your flatted axle right there. Now, the teeth, you can rotate this just very little bit with the axle. Like I said, making sure that your axle's not already cocked back in. But now you can figure out where you want to key on with your arm to make it to where you need to make it, which is going to be up somewhat high. And again, I'm trying to do this one-handed, somewhere up high like that, so that I can make it back to a bolt hole like that, and that'll put me in compression, and this will be now taking the load off of my drive axle. Thank you. Okay, even though I said that it's not the preferred method to be in tension rather than compression, I don't have a choice. So with the package size of the bolt and nut, the head of the bolt right there, if I flip over to be in compression, is interfering with this, and there's no real way to space out. And I also can't keep the worn out factory little torque arm, which is not really losing much to get rid of it. But it's not going to allow you access to get that bolt back in there. So we're going in what I would call the less preferred of the two directions of orientation that you could set it. But this is just how it's going to have to be, again, because of where the frame is and where this bolt's going to be. So that's how we're going to be. Everything's set up loose right now, so now I can take it apart and tap the insert in now that I like where I'm at. I've got everything where I want it. So, and I'll go commit to this on the bench, tap that in, come back, reinstall. All right, so we tapped the insert in. I made it flush on the back side. It is slightly positive on this side, maybe 1 millimeter or so. That's not a big deal. Using the 4 millimeter, we put that in, not tight. You reach back here, 4 millimeter Allen key, and the socket, which was, what do I got here? It is a one-handed turning. That is an 8 millimeter SK socket. So I was able to torque that. Now, also, you'll notice the stampings. Can I get macro into here? No. Okay. These are hardened bolts. The factory bolt that Jason gives you, it does not have any markings. Therefore, it is a standard grade bolt. So do yourself a favor. Don't use the factory bolts. Use the stuff that Jason gives you. Notice the hole right here was the original hole that my rear fender was mounted to. I'm probably going to just go ahead and use the long bolt that Jason gives me and run through that with a washer and back into that original hole, because that's not doing much work. All that's doing is holding this wire on for my rear fender. And we'll be able to get in right there. I should be able to bend it a little bit to get around that bolt head on the GRIN Tech arm. And that's it. Like it doesn't, if you weren't playing with a phone and trying to do a video, you could do this in probably 10 to 15 minutes with just a couple basic tools. 8 millimeter, 18 millimeter socket, 8 millimeter socket, 18 millimeter socket, and a 4 millimeter Allen wrench are all the tools I've needed. Does not take much time. Again, make sure you stage your axle away from the direction the torque wants it to go. The torque wants to go counterclockwise. Stage your axle clockwise a little bit to make sure you're not leaning on the frame. You want to be leaning on the GRIN Tech, not the frame. Okay, and I did have to loosen the other side to clock the axle back forward where it should have been. All right, so make sure you do that. Get that axle clocked properly. And that's it. You're done. Put the guard back on. Put your big washer, your big 18 millimeter nut, torque everything back up, and now you're safe. All right, guys. Thanks. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. Okay, guys. I wanted to take this opportunity to just say that I did a lot of research into torque arms and the problem with a lot of these Chinese bikes. And I know I've seen the comments made by many of you on Facebook pages and the Reddit groups that I'm on, and they complain that when you buy your bike, whether it's from this brand, which is Jason, or it's from any of the other Chinese sourced e-bike brands, that they should attack this problem. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I am not. Okay. And I've kind of made this statement publicly that, e-bikes range from somewhere in the, say, $500–600 range at the absolute bottom, to somewhere in the $10,000–$12,000 at the very top, right? We all know that we could go to our local bike stores and we could buy a low-end bike for around $3,000–$4,000. But we're not. Instead, we're going on Amazon and we're looking at Facebook ads for inexpensive e-bikes, such as this bike here, which is around a $900,000 bike. And the bikes, there are corners cut everywhere. There are corners cut on like the factory rear shock on the Jasion EB5 Ultra is just a coil spring. It's not a shock. I replaced it already with a $100 oil-filled coil spring shock. I was going to go air. I thought about going air, but I went coil. Forks, this is a coil spring fork. There's no dampening. There's no hydraulic oil like a real shock. There is no compression dampening. There is no rebound dampening. There is nothing going on there. That I will replace. So I spent $100 for this. I'll spend about $300–$400 for that to buy a low-end rock shock or something, maybe a Judy series. everything's a compromise and everything equals dollars. I get it, right? So the other end of this, and why I wanted to make this little insert for the end of the video, was another person had words with me a little bit about, well, I'm not going to buy the GRIN's V5 because it's like, I forget what, $26, $28 on Amazon with shipping. Amazon has another one that's like $10, whatever, I forget the brand. He's like, I bought that, I put it on, it works, that's fine. So I did some research, material types, engineering behind it. So the GRIN Technologies is made out of far better material. And as you saw earlier in my video, you saw the results of inferior material sizes and types, right? Everything was wrong with what Jason did back there. With 130 miles on my bike, as you saw, I was getting very near to spinning my axle. That was going to happen by 200 miles, 220 miles. I probably wouldn't have had a rear wheel assembly functional anymore, and I probably wouldn't have had a frame that was good. So when you're looking at it, you spend $1,000 on a low-end bike. You save thousands of dollars compared to a high-end bike. Maybe the suspension doesn't bother you. Maybe the thin, cheap tires doesn't bother you. But I guarantee you losing the rear motor and wheel assembly, that bothers you. So do you go for the $10 torque arm made out of inferior hardness of material and thickness of material? Or do you spend the $25, $30 on the GRIN's V5 or the V6, depending on the design of your bike, which we discussed earlier in the video, right? V5 probably works better for most people. But going with that, which is a truly engineered solution to a known problem on hundreds, if not thousands, of Chinese-sourced bikes, do you save 20 bucks? I don't. Like, what's $20 mean to me? That's lunch, right? My dogs. So I just wanted to bring that up, that yes, there are cheaper torque arms, but they are not equal. They are not equal in engineering. They are not equal in, metallurgic, choices. GRIN's V5 is the top level where you want to be for a very simple to install. As I showed you, it's a very simple thing made with the right material that attacks the problem at its root and takes control of that rear axle. That's all I want to say. I'm not going to beat the dead horse. If you want to buy the $10 one, God bless you, buy the $10 one, and I hope it works. I truly do. I hope it works, and I hope it works for as long as you own that bike, as long as the next person owns that bike. I really do. I really do. I don't want to roll the dice on that for saving a $20 bill. And if you don't want to roll the dice on it for saving a $20 bill, I just showed you how to get ahead of that, right? So that's all I wanted to say. I just want to tie this in at the back. Make your choices, your big boy times right now. Make your choice. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe.